Some Bluffton and Hilton Head neighborhoods that were absolutely slamming just 2 or 3 years ago are now seeing demand soften in ways that are pretty hard to ignore. I've been watching the local market data closely, and what I'm seeing in certain areas is honestly pretty surprising. We're talking about communities where days on market have gone from 54 to 96 in a single year, where inventory is climbing, where sellers are sitting longer and having to think hard about their pricing strategy. Hey, I'm Tim Peirce with the Peirce Group at eXp Realty. I've been buying and selling homes in the Bluffton and Hilton Head area for years, and I've helped hundreds of buyers and sellers navigate this market through every kind of cycle. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 10 communities where buyer demand is cooling the fastest right now, the areas where inventory is piling up, the neighborhoods where sellers are having to adjust their expectations, and the one community at the top of this list that genuinely surprised me when I pulled the data. So how do you read the warning signs? You look at 3 things: days on market, inventory levels, and cost pressures. Those are the exact signals I've been tracking across 10 specific communities. And the number 1 area on this list, it's a community that most people looking at the Lowcountry have at the very top of their wish list. When I show you the data, you're gonna understand why even the most iconic addresses in this market is not immune to what's happening right now. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're starting with the mildest cooling on this list, and it's happening right here in the areas surrounding Old Town Bluffton. Now, Old Town itself remains one of the most distinctive neighborhoods in all of the Lowcountry. The walkability, the character, the May River access, none of that has changed. But the broader Bluffton market that wraps around it, that's telling a different story. In August 2025, the absorption rate for overall Bluffton market jumped to 12.4 months. That number matters because a balanced market typically sits between 3 and 6 months of supply. When you hit 12.4 months, that's a buyer's market, and a pronounced one. The median sale price for Bluffton in 2025 came in right about $530,000 to $550,000, which is slightly softer than 2024's figures. And closed sales year to date in mid-2025 were trailing last year's pace. For sellers in and around Old Town Bluffton, this means one thing: the days of listing and expecting immediate interest are over. Strategic pricing is no longer optional. For buyers, this is actually an interesting entry point. More selection, less competition, and more room to negotiate in ways that simply didn't exist back in 2022. Next is Rose Hill. Rose Hill is a 2,000-acre gated community about 7 miles west of the Hilton Head Island Bridge. It has golf, equestrian facilities, river access, pools, tennis, and pickleball. On paper, it checks every box for the kind of lifestyle buyer who's researching Bluffton. But the data right now shows this community sitting longer than most sellers expect. As of October 2025, the average days on market for Rose Hill homes was 83 days, with 17 active listings on the market at once. That's a meaningful volume of supply for a community of this size. And the median list price of around $704,000 is competing against newer inventory in other communities that buyers are also considering at similar price points. Here's the real issue for Rose Hill. The homes here range from 2,200 to over 5,500 square feet, and many of them are older builds. When buyers at this price point are weighing Rose Hill against a newer community with updated finishes, they often choose new. For sellers in Rose Hill, the key is presentation and pricing against those newer alternatives. For buyers, the opportunity is real. You're buying into a 2,000-acre community with genuine amenity depth at a price point where sellers are now more open to conversations than they were 2 years ago. Next is Moss Creek, and Moss Creek sits just over the bridge from Hilton Head Island, directly on the mainland in Bluffton. It's a member-owned community, private gated community, spread across 1,000 acres with 2 Tom Fazio designed golf courses, a marina on Mackey's Creek, and direct access to the Intercoastal Waterway. This community has a lot of genuine appeal, but the market data shows something that sellers need to know about. Home prices in Moss Creek are down by approximately 6% over the past 12 months. The median sale price over that period came in at $800,000, and homes are averaging about 56 days on market. So what's happening? A few things are converging here. First of all, the housing stock in Moss Creek is older than competing communities. Many of these homes were built in the 1980s and 1990s, and buyers at the $800,000 to $1 million price point have a lot of new options to compare against today. Second, maintenance costs on older homes in a coastal environment are real, and buyers factor that in. For buyers, a 6% drop in a market that was running hot creates real opportunity. You're getting into an established, member-owned gated community with some of the best intercoastal waterway access in the entire Lowcountry. The lifestyle here is genuinely distinct. For sellers, the message is simple. You're competing with newer inventory, and pricing and presentation need to reflect that reality honestly. Next is Hampton Hall, and Hampton Hall is one of the most recognizable names in all of Bluffton real estate. A private gated community of 1,100 acres, peak dye design golf course, close to historic downtown Bluffton, 20 minutes from Hilton Head Island, and right now the data shows homes are sitting longer than expected at the median price point. Year to date, the average days on market has shot up 88.7% from 62 to 117 days. The median sale price is down by 24% to $930,000. For a community with this level of name recognition, that is a meaningful shift from the pace of 2022 and 2023. If you're buying in Hampton Hall, this is the best negotiating environment this community has seen in years. And if you're selling, price with the full cost of ownership in mind, not just the house price. Now, if you're researching a move to Bluffton or Hilton Head and you want to understand the real differences between the gated communities here, the fees, the memberships, the lifestyle, the things that don't show up in a Zillow search, grab my free Lowcountry community and relocation guide. It covers all of the major communities we're talking about in this video. Fees, initiation costs, lifestyle comparisons, cost of living breakdown, and South Carolina tax advantages. This is the kind of information that most buyers from out of state simply can't find online. The link is in the description below. This one is going to require some context because Latitude Margaritaville Hilton Head is not technically in Bluffton. It sits in Hardyville just off of Highway 278, about 20 minutes from Hilton Head Island. But it is absolutely on the radar of every buyer looking at this market, and the data here is worth talking about. This is a 55 and better community built by Minto Communities, ultimately planning for over 3,000 homes. It's still actively under construction with phases releasing regularly. The most recent market data from April of 2026 shows days on market at 147 for sold homes, up from 120 days compared to this time last year. That's 5.5 times what it was a year ago. Now prices remain fairly stable. The median sale price fell from $493,000 to $480,000 over that same comparison period. For buyers, this is a genuine opportunity to get into a 55 and better community at a price point with seller concessions that simply did not exist 2 years ago. For sellers trying to exit before construction finishes, you're competing directly with the builder, and that's a tough position. Sun City Hilton Head is the largest active adult community in the Lowcountry. Over 5,100 acres, more than 16,000 residents, 3 golf courses, multiple fitness centers, indoor and outdoor pools, pickleball, tennis courts, and over 200 clubs. Literally anything you want to do exists in this community. This is one of the most recognized retirement community brands in the Southeast, and it is facing a cost pressure that is genuinely squeezing buyer demand in the resale segment. As of 2025, Sun City Hilton Head HOA fees run approximately $2,620 per year in the main community and $3,540 per year in Sun City North, which is the Del Webb North section. On top of those annual dues, buyers also pay 1/3 of 1% initiation fee based on the home's purchase price at closing, plus a $300 administrative fee, plus a $3,500 enhancement fee for resale properties. At a $450,000 home purchase, which is pretty close to the median price for this community, that's roughly $5,285 in initiation costs at closing, plus ongoing dues, before you factor in property insurance. And here's the point I want to make about insurance. Homeowners insurance rates in South Carolina are rising. The state's wind pool, the South Carolina Wind and Hail Underwriters Association, filed for a 7.5% rate increase on dwelling policies in 2025. That was approved. And separate from that, fraud and severe weather have been pushing some insurers to exit the state which reduces competition and puts upward pressure on rates. For buyers in a fixed income or near retirement budget situation, that combination of HOA fees, initiation costs, and rising insurance premiums is becoming a real hesitation point. Homes in Sun City typically range from the mid 300s to over $800,000. The resale market is active, but sellers who haven't priced in the full cost of ownership context for their buyers are finding themselves sitting longer than expected. Shipyard Plantation sits on the south end of Hilton Head Island, tucked between Palmetto Dunes and Sea Pines. It's an 800-acre gated residential resort community with a mix of condos, villas, and single-family homes. The world-renowned Crown Plaza Oceanfront Resort is inside the gates. The location is genuinely excellent, but the condo and villa segment of Shipyard is where the data gets interesting. For condos and villas inside Shipyard, days on market climbed to 126 days in April, up 49% compared to the prior year, and condo sales volume dropped significantly over the same period. Here's what's happening at a structural level. Hilton Head Island's condo and villa inventory is rising across the board. The segment with the largest inventory gain island-wide is condos, where the number of properties for sale rose 29.1% in the 12-month period ending August 2025. More supply meeting softer buyer demand is the core equation. For buyers, condos and villas in Shipyard are now sitting long enough that you have real time to do your due diligence. Those numbers matter enormously in coastal condo ownership, and I'd love to walk you through them if you're considering this area. For sellers, it's notable that the single-family homes in Shipyard are holding up better than the attached segment. If you're in a condo or a villa here, your pricing needs to reflect current absorption realistically. Okay, so now I want to zoom out for a moment and look at the Hilton Head Island condo and villa market as a whole, because the data at this level is telling a very clear story. In April 2026, the most recent data shows the median Hilton Head Island home sold for approximately $1.2 million, which is down 3.6% compared to last year. The average home is now selling after 111 days on market, up 56 days from the year prior. And on average, homes are selling for about 4% below their list price. That 4% discount is significant. At a $1.2 million purchase price, 4% below list is $48,000. That is real money on the table for a buyer who understands how to position an offer right now. But here's the context that makes that even more relevant. Within the island's condo and villa category, the softening is more pronounced than those island-wide averages suggest. Days on market for the broader attached segment rose to 131 days in 2026, up from 78, and the median price is down by 8.3% to $500,000 from $545,000. What this means for you as a buyer is you now have time to compare multiple properties, negotiate inspection contingencies, review HOA reserves carefully, and factor in your overall HOA costs and potential assessments. What this means for sellers, ambition in pricing is now being punished by the market. Homes that are priced at what a seller hoped to get in 2022 are sitting. Homes that are priced to the current comp set are still moving. Okay, so I know this video is all about where not to buy, but if you are considering relocating to Bluffton or Hilton Head in the next few months and you want advice from somebody that has been living and working in this market for 24 years, then drop me a text or give me a call at 843-481-2225 or book a free call at the link in the description. And based on your budget and your preferences, we can work out the best neighborhoods for your budget. And now on to our final two areas, and this is where it gets genuinely interesting. Sea Pines is the most iconic gated community on Hilton Head Island. 5,000 oceanfront acres on the island's south end. Harbor Town, 3-peat Dye Championship golf courses including Harbor Town Golf Links, home to the RBC Heritage, 5 miles of Atlantic Beach. This is a community that defines the Hilton Head brand. So what happens when the data shows the villa and condo segment here is under real pricing pressure? In Q3 2025, villas sold in Sea Pines saw their median price fall 7% to $760,000, At the same time, villa inventory in Sea Pines gained 68% year over year. More supply, softening prices, that's the villa picture inside one of the most desirable addresses in the Lowcountry. Now, the single-family home segment in Sea Pines tells a very different story. The Hilton Head Association of Realtors market report from April 2026 shows Sea Pines home prices up 5.5% compared to a year earlier, with a median sale price of $1,765,000. But days on market more than doubled, from 49 to 104. If you're a buyer, the segment you're targeting determines your strategy entirely. Sea Pines carries an annual HOA fee on top of property taxes and insurance. Total cost of ownership here deserves careful modeling before you commit, and that's a conversation I'd love to have with you directly. Okay, so here it is, the community at the top of the list, and I have to tell you, when I first sat down with the data on Palmetto Bluff, I had to look at it twice. Palmetto Bluff is arguably the most aspirational address in all of South Carolina. 20,000 acres on the May River, the Montage Palmetto Bluff Resort, a Jack Nicklaus signature golf course, equestrian facilities, river access, the kind of privacy and natural beauty that you genuinely cannot find anywhere else in the Lowcountry. And yet the data shows listings sitting at an average of 132 days in mid-2025. The broader picture backs this up. By close of Q2 2025, Palmetto Bluff Real Estate Company reported $211 million in closed and pending sales volume across 91 total transactions. That sounds strong, and in terms of total dollars, it is. But break it down and you see a community where individual homes are sitting significantly longer than they did at the peak of the market in 2022 and 2023. Why is this happening at Palmetto Bluff specifically? I think it comes down to three factors. First, at price points of $2 million, $3 million, $4 million and above, buyers move on their own timeline. Interest rate sensitivity is lower, but decision timelines are longer. Second, Palmetto Bluff carries membership fees and club costs on top of the home price, and buyers at this level are doing extremely thorough due diligence on the full cost picture. Third, more inventory at this price tier means buyers have real options to compare, and they are using that time. Now, I want to be very clear about something. A cooling in marketing pace at Palmetto Bluff does not mean this community is losing value. In fact, the median sale price is up 15.5% to $3,362,500 year to date. For buyers, this is genuinely the best opportunity in years to take time, compare options, and negotiate on a Palmetto Bluff purchase with less pressure than you've had in recent memory. For sellers, the one thing to understand is that pricing in this community correctly relative to current comps is essential. There are enough active listings right now that buyers will not overpay simply because of the address. Knowing which markets are shifting is only step one, because even inside communities that are cooling, there are specific properties and price points that will hold their value and sell quickly, and ones that will cost you if you're not careful. So watch this next video where I break down exactly what to look for before you buy in any Lowcountry gated community, including the fee structures and the cost of ownership math that most out-of-state buyers don't see until after closing.